Did you know that it's legally easier here in Texas to build a 5,000-seat megachurch with its own gun range than it is to build a Muslim community center with a school? Yeah, welcome to freedom, Texas style, where liberty is a universal principle right up until someone actually tries to use it. And today we're going back to Epic City, the development plan that somehow turned East Plano into season 6 of Homeland. This week's sacred cow is the myth that Texas loves liberty, but apparently that liberty comes with an asterisk the size of Ken Paxton's legal bill. They tell us Texas is a land of freedom. We brag about freedom of religion, freedom of association, and freedom from government interference. We brag about being the state where a megachurch can have a coffee bar, a bowling alley, and a fully licensed gun range, and nobody blinks. But the moment a Muslim community tries to build something ambitious, a 1,000-home development, a school, senior living, commercial space, suddenly the state storms in like they're raiding a secret bunker. Because nothing screams small government like using the power of the state to decide which religions get to buy dirt. Epic City should have been the most boring local news story imaginable. 1,000 homes, a mosque, a K-12 school, senior living, and some commercial space. The kind of master-planned community that developers in Frisco sneeze out every other Tuesday. But the second the blueprints included a minaret, suddenly half the state lost their damn minds. Governor Abbott starts tossing around terms like no-go zone, based not on zoning law, not on evidence, but on rumors, circulating in a Facebook group whose profile pic is a bald eagle cosplaying as George Washington. And then Ken Paxton, his indictedness, patron saint of selective outrage, sues the whole project, slapping Epic with securities fraud allegations so broad it comes with a caution wide load sign. He basically said, sure, there's no federal discrimination here. The DOJ already checked and closed the probe. But something must be wrong. We'll figure it out later. That's not law enforcement. That's I'll find the crime once I decide who the criminal is. And here's the part that nobody wants to say out loud. If this were 1,000 homes surrounding a Christian megachurch for 20,000 people, an amphitheater big enough to host ZZ Top, and a Starbucks-flavored baptism center, Abbott would have held the groundbreaking himself. Cut the ribbon, posed for photos, maybe even signed a few Bibles. You know the routine. But slap the word Islamic on the front of the proposal, and boom, suddenly it's a radical plot. A security concern, a threat to the Texas way of life. Really? In a state where we let people start churches and strip malls between a vape shop and a jiu-jitsu studio? This isn't about securities. It's not about zoning. It's not even about Paxton's uncanny ability to smell a TV camera from 3 counties away. This is the state deciding who is allowed to build a community and who isn't. It's government overreach dressed up like protecting Texans, because protecting Texans polls better than making voters scared enough to keep us in office. And both parties are letting it happen. Republicans, silent. Democrats, also silence. Congratulations, folks. Bipartisan unity has been achieved by duct taping everyone's mouths shut. And this is where libertarians, the folks media loves to ignore until they need someone to blame for a close election, actually have something consistent to say. Private property is private property. Voluntary association is voluntary association. Religious freedom doesn't have an asterisk, and the government doesn't get to decide which peaceful communities are acceptable. From a libertarian perspective, this is the nightmare scenario. The government is using its monopoly on force to police voluntary association, private development, and religious expression because the people involved aren't in the favored demographic. This is the kind of crap liberty is supposed to protect us from. If a group of Texans wants to build Epic City and no one's freedom is being violated in the process, the state has no business standing in the way. Liberty means letting people live as they choose, not as politicians decree. When the state steps in to stop a peaceful people from buying land and building homes, schools, and businesses, that's not protecting Texans, that's social engineering in cowboy boots. And here's the kicker. When the state tramples on your rights, both parties suddenly develop amnesia. Apparently, liberty is only worth defending when it polls well. The GOP lets Paxton do the culture war dirty work so that they don't have to admit what's actually happening. And the Democrats, the self-proclaimed defenders of civil liberties, can't even muster a press release. They're staying quiet because defending property rights makes them break out in hives. It's almost like neither party wants to touch a story where defending religious freedom means defending Muslims. When the state tramples liberty, both sides suddenly find religion in silence. Funny how that works. So here we are in Texas, where you can build a Buc-ee's on a bald eagle nest, a Bass Pro Shop next to an endangered salamander, and a megachurch with its own AR-15 appreciation night. But say the word Islamic and the Attorney General shows up like you summoned him with a Ouija board and a blood sacrifice. This isn't just hypocrisy. It's cowardice wrapped in bureaucracy and dipped in election year paranoia. It's a government so comfortable with its own power that it thinks it can veto an entire community, and two political parties too terrified, too compromised, or too calculating to call it what it is. And honestly, if liberty only applies to the people who already agree with you, you don't believe in liberty. You believe in permission. So here's my question for you. If a state can shut down a Muslim community from building homes and a school today, what do you think they can shut you down from doing tomorrow? Drop your thought in the comments. And share this one with someone who still thinks the lesser of two evils is still the best long-term plan.